Good morning, Kipster. So this is day two of our lesson learning about a walk through the seasons. In this lesson, you're going to learn about how to graph and analyze sunlight data to describe differences in amount of sunlight between the season. So our new big question is how the sky is different in the summer and in the winter. On our yesterday class, we read this book, A Walk Through the Seasons, by Ashley Chase and Chloe Delafield. These are the two authors who wrote this book. We learned in this book that the sun is up longer in the summer, and it is up a shorter amount of time in the winter. And the spring and fall are about the same. So we've seen that in the spring and fall, the sun was rising before breakfast, and in the afternoon, after dinner, it was sunset. In the summer, the sun was already up at breakfast, before breakfast, and at dinner, the sun was still up after dinner. And in the winter, the sun was not up. It was dark before breakfast, and it was dark after dinner. So we're going to be learning more about this today, and we're going to be looking at a graph to graph these different parts. So that's what we're going to be focused on today. So if you're not familiar with a graph, we're going to learn some information about a graph and how to plot some different things on the graph. So this is our graph here. How long the sun is in the sky each day in Boston. So Boston is a city that's kind of far away, and we have some data here, and we're going to figure out how to graph this data, so people can see a graph. So this is the entire graph here. So the graph is like these winter, spring, summer, fall at the bottom. This is the winter graph. It has 10. This is the hours the sun was up. So we use this part on this side to figure out how many hours the sun was up. So we have 0, 5, 10, 15, and this tells us how long the sun was in the sky each day in Boston around. So our first one we have is winter. Winter, the sun was up for 10 hours. So we see that this bar goes all the way up to 10, and this shows us how many hours the sun is up in Boston in the winter. Next is spring. So at the bottom, we have the number of hours the sun is in the sky each day in the town that we read about in the book. So we have winter, 10 hours, spring, 12 hours, summer, 16 hours, and fall, 12 hours. So we have winter already done. Spring, summer, fall are the ones that we need to do. So we know that spring, it has more hours than in the winter. So I know that this bar should go up more. In the summer, it is 16 hours, which is even more than spring. And in fall, it is 12 hours. And we're going to be looking at that more in our next graph. So we have the different things that we're looking at: winter, spring, summer, fall, the four different seasons. We have the hours that the sun was up, and we're going to graph out the next two. So to do that, so this is the question that's going to be on your exit ticket. So again, we always start with our title. Our title is Hour the Sun is in the Sky Each Day in Boston. We have our four seasons: winter, spring, summer, fall. And then we graphed on this graph how many hours the sun was up in each season. So we already have winter. Winter was 10 hours. It was up for 10 hours throughout the day. The next is spring, and spring it went up is 12 hours. So when I go all the way up, it goes to 12 hours and it stops here. Next is summer, and summer the sun was up for 16 hours. It goes all the way up to 16. And in the fall, it was 12 again. So looking at this graph, I'm going to be asking a series of questions, and you guys are going to figure out what is the right answer. So for my first question, which of the seasons has the most amount of sun in the day? Which season has the most amount of sun in a day? When I say go, you're going to say your answer. Get ready, go. Summer. We know that summer is right here. The summer, it goes all the way up to 16, which is more than each one of the different seasons. Next question. Which two seasons have the same amount of sun in a day in Boston? Spring and fall. Spring and fall, they both have how many hours of sun does spring and fall have? To do that, you use the graph, you use the numbers, you go all the way up, you stop, and you see where the bar stops for spring. You see where the bar stops for fall, and we know that that number is 12. So if you have 12, that is correct. The sun is up for 12 hours in each day in Boston from this graph, and it is the same for spring and fall. For winter, we see that winter has 10 hours. To do that, we use the numbers on the side to figure out how many hours each the days of the winter have. So graphs are really important because they help us graph different things or show a picture representation of what we're trying to graph. So we could have just wrote these things out, but we're going to use this for our exit ticket and figure out which has the most amount of sun and which has the least amount of sun. So this is our lesson for Friday. I hope you guys get your exit tickets right. Also, you're going to be asking your teacher a question inside of your exit ticket. So we're going to get on a big call with all of your teachers, and you can ask them what are different things that they are doing during quarantine. So you can ask like, what's your favorite movie that you've been watching? What have you been doing for a workout? Like I might ask that to Mr. Flores. You might ask Miss Weldon, what was her favorite project? You can that she's done for remote learning. So you can get ready to ask those different questions. Catch you guys next week.